Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you today is something that occurred in DC and the merger of this super duper hydra of gun control that's happening between gun control forces and the state representatives and state lawmakers and AGs and leftist states is coming together, and it is almost complete. You need to send this out so everyone on our side is fully aware of what is happening and lining up against us. Now, everything, including the timestamps, is going to be linked in the description box below. Please send this out. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on, because the forces of tyranny are unifying against us right out in the open. And that's why I do videos just like this. And in order to combat them, please check out my website, secondpress.co. This is the place where you can join. It's completely free. Be a member. You get updates on what's going on. You get to circumvent the gun control algorithm monster that is YouTube with direct response to when I put a video out, if you want daily or weekly, and you get updates on me, on Second Legacy with me and Tim, or with Katie, as you can see right there. It is right there. We have built this machine to circumvent the control that we always see and experience. So please check it out. There's a link in the description box below. But let me get to the main thing here. This, guys, they don't even hide it anymore. Legitimately, I have a few timestamps that I'm going to walk you through right here, but what we're basically showing is a press conference that was put on by the District of Columbia's Attorney General, which is Washington, D.C., gun control zone, Maryland AG, which is a gun control state, and Everytown for gun safety, or Everytown Law in this case, the legal arm of Everytown for gun safety. They're doing joint pressers, and they're suing gun shops out of existence. Check this out. Guys, they're not even hiding it. All right, let me get first to the timestamp. This is 1:45. I want to get to the right place for you guys. All right, let's get it. After an ad, of course, because hashtag YouTube.
Check this out. State Farm was charging me $179 for auto insurance per month. No, thank you.
I'm joined this morning by Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown, as well as by Eric Tershwell and our partners from Everytown Law.
Oh!
I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the many advocates who are here, including Ryan Nickens of Trayron Center.
By the way, I love that Everytown Law is being noticed as our partners to a District of Columbia Attorney General. Anyway, let's keep going.
We're gathered here today because of a case that took place right here in the U.S. federal court involving a Maryland resident named Demetrius Minor. In 2021, Mr. Minor walked into Engage Armament, a gun store in Rockville, Maryland, and purchased a 9mm handgun. The following week, he returned and purchased another one, and then a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. Within just 5 months, Mr. Minor bought 25 handguns from the same gun store. Indeed, he purchased 8 handguns within the span of just 2 weeks. Mr. Minor did the same thing at 2 other gun stores in Montgomery County, Maryland: Atlantic Guns and United Gun Shop. In total, he ended up purchasing 34 guns over the course of just a few months.
All right, so there's some very important things that I'm trying to lay out and highlight for why they're suing these gun shops out of existence from Everytown for gun safety and from the Attorney General of a D.C. area, which is gun control, and Maryland, which is gun control. I'm sure there's no collusion there. Anyway, this is the big underlying thing. They're going after gun shops because a criminal did criminal things. It's already against federal law to be involved in a straw purchase for someone who can't buy a gun. It's federal law. There's a NICS background check, which has to happen before a gun goes out the door at every FFL. That didn't work. But no, it's the gun shops. It's not the fact that gun control fails, and wait till I get to the Everytown lawyer that shows you what they're actually using them for, which circumvents their entire point. But they've got lawsuits to dish out, people. It can't be about facts. This has got to be about, common sense for suing everybody out of existence. The point is, what we're about to walk through is all federal crime. Already gun control crime. But for some reason, just didn't work. So we got to sue the gun sales or the gun shops out of existence because the federal safeguards of which they promised would work didn't. Let's continue. All right, so I got to get to 435 here. Again, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. But it's important when we get to these individual points. Let's just get right there.
That we've named as defendants are federal firearms licensees, or FFLs. As federal licensees, they are permitted to sell guns. They are trained and have a legal duty to watch out for straw purchasers like Mr. Minor. And they are required to refuse to sell guns to straw purchasers.
Okay, pause it real quick. They are required if they have a suspicion that someone is doing that. They are not required to know every single one, and if they fail, they are liable. There is no way on God's green earth for you to say to someone, you're going to sell this gun somewhere else, because you cannot prove that. In fact, if you say, I'm not going to sell you this gun, you open yourself up for a different type of lawsuit, which is called discrimination. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. But let's continue, because, you know, the Attorney General from the gun control state of the District of Columbia, which already is heavily in gun control, is having a hard time figuring out why guns are permeating through gun control, so he's going after the gun shops. Let's continue.
It doesn't take a lot of common sense to figure out that someone trying to repeatedly buy the same semi-auto handgun over a short period of time is a straw purchaser and is buying the guns for illegal purposes. And yet, all three of these stores ignored the red flags and instead chose to sell guns to Mr. Minor anyway. They made a choice to put their profits over our public safety, a choice to put their profits over our people. Now, Mr. Minor paid for his crimes. He was prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced right here in this federal court. But the source of the illegal guns, the gun sellers who supplied Mr. Minor, have not been held accountable. As the sentencing judge in Mr. Minor's...
Okay, enough of that. I got a few more things. Wait till the Evertown lawyer, who is next, who says some really crazy stuff. However, how can you prove, without the individual who went to jail for gun running and trafficking, how are you going to prove he's a straw purchase other than the fact he bought a lot of guns? Did he provide you receipts? Did he tell you he was reselling the guns? Again, in a court of law, prove this, because you can't. It's all conjecture, but that doesn't matter, because we have to destroy the gun shops, because DC is already insane, not to mention the DC Metro Police Station, where the only gun shop was for a little while. They had a lot of guns that ended up in criminals' hands too, but we can't talk about that. They didn't get sued. No, that's uncomfortable. We did a story on that. But let's focus on these three shops, because we have an opportunity through our partners with Everytown Law to destroy gun shops. This is bigger than straw purchasing. And by the way, straw purchasing is underneath the ATS purview, and they've already shut down all the straw purchasing in a thing called Operation Thor. We've covered all of this. But isn't it interesting how all of these things blend together, and now all of a sudden it's only on the Second Amendment community. It's not on the ATF, it's not on the police, it's not on the criminal. No, just the gun shop. Just them. It's almost like it's a targeted attack. Anyway, I'm sure it's not that, though. Let's get to the Everytown lawyer at 1641. Let's bounce over here, because this guy's a peach. Wait until you hear what he has to say, because he talks big and tough.
A lot of people ask us,
oh, look, another ad
between Mudwater and Mushroom Coffee. First, we are Mushroom Coffee.
Get out of here.
Being taken. I'd like to thank, again, my office and members of my team. And I'm proud to work alongside General Schwab and his team as we work together to tackle gun violence and that epidemic that is plaguing our communities and our region. And with that, I'll turn it over to Eric from Everytown.
Right there. That's the Attorney General of Maryland going to Everytown Law. This guy right here.
Thank you very much, A.G. Brown and A.G. Schwab. My name is Eric Tershwell. I'm the Executive Director and Chief Litigation Counsel at Everytown Law. Everytown is proud to be partnering with the Attorney Generals of the District of Columbia and Maryland in this important case to address interstate gun trafficking. As far as we're aware, this is the first time that two neighboring Attorney Generals have come together to bring a case like this. And we know how important that is, because gun trafficking does not stop at state lines.
It fixes in a second.
As alleged in today's complaint, 3 Rockville, Maryland gun stores put profits over public safety by facilitating the illegal distribution of firearms in the DC metropolitan area. The results have been regrettable but predictable. First, most of these firearms were transferred to a district resident with a lengthy and violent criminal history. That's Mr. Willis, who was mentioned earlier. Second, too many of these guns have already been recovered in connection with crimes in Washington, D.C. and in Maryland. And you can see that on this map, which I believe...
Oh, what a dweeb. All right. This guy's the chief litigation officer of Everytown Law. This is the guy that is going to go after every single gun shop that he deems necessary. He's going to go partner with all the AGs. This is the exact same guy who's involved in suing Glock for their product to be converted into machine guns by criminals. That's this guy. Everytown for Gun Safety is on a holy quest, gotta say it right, can't be offensive to anybody, to destroy the gun supply chain, which is a Second Amendment right. If we can't ban the guns in the United States, if we get rid of the supply chain, make it just too onerous to sell a gun, well, then we achieved it as well. That's what this guy's gonna do. Again, he's in a press conference with the Attorney General of Maryland on the right, guy with the glasses, and the other guy on the left, the Attorney General of DC, both of which are gun control zones. But the issues are just too big. They're just too bad. Criminals can't be held accountable, so we got to go for the gun shops. All right, let's go to the next one. This is at 1846. Again, all these timestamps will be supplied in the description box right down there. Let's get it.
This is all laid out in the lawsuit that was filed earlier.
Listen to where the guns ended up.
One of the guns sold by these stores was used by Mr. Willis to terrorize partygoers at a house in the District of Columbia, including by pointing the gun at partygoers' heads.
Menacing.
Another gun
felony
was found in Prince George's County in the possession of a suspect in a stabbing.
Violent felony.
A third was recovered in the district from a fugitive with an active warrant for assault.
Felony.
2 others were recovered along with illegal large capacity magazines and illegal narcotics.
Felony.
Many more are still out on the street and unaccounted for.
Now, I'm going to pause that for a second. I got one more after this. Understand, again, zoom out on this. If you have never watched one of these videos before and you don't understand exactly what we're talking about, let me zoom this really, really macro for you. This is in a gun control state. This is in a gun control district within a gun control state. This is almost a gun-free area in DC. They're going after gun shops for criminal behavior. The guns were straw purchased at the criminal's choice, not the gun shop, so you got to do after the gun shops. And all the guns ended up with felons who gun control should have been able to prevent that they didn't have the guns, but they all had them. You picking it up? This is a big game. This is how you take your Second Amendment rights while lying to the population who's going to haplessly say, oh, well, they're doing something about gun violence, even though they're doing nothing. They're just taking the rights and the supply chain from every other citizen because criminal's going to criminal. The chief litigation officer of Everytown Law, in this case, just told you where they were found and who had them and what the element is that has these guns. Good Lord. Anyway, again, keep in mind, the gun shop did not sell to those people. Sold to one person, one criminal, one straw purchaser under the ATS purview who gave it to other people. And yet that's the gun shop's fault. All right, let's go. I got one more thing for you. 2115. This one is, big talk from the Everytown Law guy. He's scary. He really means business. He's so tough, guys. So it's 2115. Let's get it.
Of these stores incurring those consequences. The remedies we're seeking include injunctive relief to make sure the stores stop facilitating illegal gun sales.
That's stupid.
As well as funds to abate the public nuisance that their actions have contributed to.
Okay, hold on. Before he issues his threat. Injunction to stop them from selling guns which they already can't sell because it's already illegal activity if they know it's a straw purchase, but they don't. Okay, that's stupid and that's pointless. That's just to give you a little bit of bona fides to get to the money, which is what he's talking about. They're going to try to sue them out of existence to get the money to go into the public coffers to take care of the financial impact of gun violence in the city of DC, which is a gun control zone. Okay, anyway, back to Sir Dweebs a lot.
So let me end by noting this is not the first time Everytown Law has teamed up with state and local officials to address and seek accountability from bad apple gun stores, and it will not be the last.
Yeah, because they're suing Glock through the city of Chicago, and then the Attorney General of New Jersey and of Minnesota and countless other states is also jumping on in order to do the same thing. But yeah, no big deal. These people are.
This lawsuit should serve as a warning to any other gun store that believes that it can profit off of illegal straw sales. You are not immune from being sued. And if you are putting the safety of the public at risk, if you turn a blind eye to illegal purchases, if you are helping to fuel gun trafficking, you will have to answer for your actions in court.
And there's the loss, and there's the threat of lawsuits and the lawfare that which they're going to deploy in full force. This is why I said at the beginning of this video, you need to send this out because it shows you what they're doing. They're bragging about it. They're saying openly what they're going to do. They're going to go after all the gun shops in order to take down the infrastructure to stop the supply to the American people. That's what they are going to do. They are suing Glock. They have a pair on them to go after Glock from Chicago. They're suing individual gun shops. We've seen it all the way from Philadelphia to now D.C. to different areas in between. Guys, this is the tactic that they're going to do. Let me go big here real quick. This is the tactic that they're going to do. They are going to utilize the lawfare system and the funding from a billionaire, Michael Bloomberg, who funds the entire operation, who has now partnered and weaseled his way in with all the gun control advocates inside different blue states. If you're in a blue state, you have a target on your back because these people are going to do this. They're telling you they're going to do it. He just came out and said it in a joint press conference with 2 different AGs. This is a fight for our rights and also a fight for the next generation, and I am dang proud to be here with you guys. Make sure you let me know what you think in the comments below if I landed this plane, and I will see you on the next one. I'm out.